Hi, my name is Jake Rogenbuck, and I'm applying to Plasma. I'm building the Agentic Connections tool, or ACT, to help you keep professional connections top of mind. From the 20 people I've interviewed so far, I hear a common problem, that people are making professional connections but not keeping up with them. They're drifting away from these people who could otherwise help them. ACT will help you keep professional connections top of mind. The common problem that I've heard, and a problem that I have personally had, is you meet someone at a hackathon or a conference or maybe a professor you know or a coworker, and you try to stay in touch with this person, but eventually you end up drifting away. These professional connections are only super useful if you keep in constant contact with people. ACT will integrate with Gmail, with LinkedIn, and with iMessages to help you keep these connections top of mind. It will do this by looking at previous emails and figuring out the context of the conversation you might have had. It will then resurface these things on a regular basis that you could set the interval of to make sure that you're keeping up with some of your connections. Maybe a former coworker you worked with 2 years ago who still works in an industry you're interested in. The main goal of ACT is to resurface some of these conversations you might have had months or years ago to keep people connected. I'll give an example. I once asked the COO of Vercel for Next.js Conf tickets. He happily gave them to me, and I followed up and said thank you afterwards. It's since been 2 years and I haven't spoken to him, and I don't think he would remember me still. Had I spoken to him, quarterly or maybe even monthly to ask him questions and talk about how much I love Vercel, I might be in a position to go work for the company I really am interested in. But unfortunately, I let that connection drift away. The goal of ACT is to help prevent types of things like this, to solve my problem and hopefully yours too. ACT will resurface these conversations and remind you of the people that you're interested in talking to and help with conversation topics so that, say on a rainy day, you might be reminded that you could talk to the few people who have, you've previously talked with or who have helped you out in some way, and just remind them and say, thank you, I really appreciated that thing you did, a few years ago. Let's take a look at the ACT website. Right now, I'm filling in a new contact where I'm adding the name and email of someone I may have met. I'm adding what company they work for, and then I'm going to write a short message about how I met them, maybe what we talked about. Next, I'm going to save the contact, then go to tasks. After this, I'm going to write down one task that I could do related to this person. So I'm going to say, I'm going to ask for their LinkedIn, or I'm going to meet with them and talk about what they're working on. Then ACT will use Agentic AI to remember these types of things and then bring them up when they're relevant. It will send you an email summary weekly to tell you what are the things that you could do this week to really make an impact on your professional connections. It will give you draft emails or conversation topics with people that it knows that you haven't talked to in a while to make sure you're keeping these connections top of mind. Part of the reason I'm so passionate about solving this problem is it's a problem that I have myself. Oftentimes I'll make these connections at hackathons and I'll meet people, but I'll forget to follow up months afterwards. And this will cause a lot of problems connecting with them in the future, because oftentimes they don't remember me or the other people that they talk to. Right now I'm applying just myself, and I have a technical background, so I'm also building the product. However, I am looking for a possible co-founder that I might meet through the Plasma program, so that's part of the reason that I'm very interested in applying to Plasma. Another reason I'm really interested in applying to Plasma is because I believe a lot of the really passionate and interesting people who would use this software are also applying to Plasma and would also be in the audience of people watching the demo day presentation. So that's why I think it's going to be helpful to apply. Thank you for listening, and I hope to see you at Demo Day.